The birth of the Champions League. The story begins in 1955. Europe, still rebuilding from war, needed something unifying. Football gave the answer. The European Cup was born, the ancestor of today's Champions League. At first, it wasn't even organized by UEFA, but by the French newspaper L'Équipe. Their idea: bring the best clubs of Europe into one grand tournament. And who dominated? Real Madrid, Di Stefano, Puskas, Gento. They turned the early finals into their personal stage. 5 straight titles between 1956 and 1960. Pure dynasty. These finals were more than football. They were symbols of pride, of nations rising again. Wembley, 1960. Real Madrid 7, Eintracht Frankfurt 3. To this day, one of the most legendary matches ever played. From the ashes of Europe, the Champions League found its flame. The 70s powerhouses, the 1970s. A decade of revolutions in football. The European Cup became the stage where dynasties were forged. First came Ajax. Led by Johan Cruyff, they introduced total football. 3 straight titles from 1971 to 1973. A system, not just a team, movement, fluidity, perfection. Then Bayern Munich rose. Gerd Müller, Franz Beckenbauer, Sepp Maier. 3 consecutive wins from 1974 to 1976. Ruthless efficiency, German precision at its peak, and of course, Liverpool. Bill Shankly laid the foundations. Bob Paisley delivered the glory. In 1977 and 1978, they lifted back-to-back European Cups. The Cup was no longer just English. It echoed across Europe. The 70s built legends, and every final felt like history in motion. The 80s drama, the 1980s. A decade of unpredictability, shocks, and tragedy. Aston Villa in 1982. From Birmingham to the top of Europe. Defeating Bayern Munich against all odds. Then, in 1986, Steaua Bucharest, the first and only Romanian club to win the European Cup. Their goalkeeper, Helmut Duckerdam, saving 4 consecutive penalties in the final, a miracle in Seville. But not all was glory. 1985, Heysel Stadium. Liverpool versus Juventus. A crumbling wall, chaos in the stands, 39 lives lost. The darkest night in European Cup history. English clubs were banned for 5 years. The 80s finals taught us greatness and disaster often share the same stage. The 90s transition. The 1990s brought transformation. The European Cup evolved into the UEFA Champions League in 1992. New format, new anthem, new era. In 1993, Marseille became the first French club to win, defeating Milan in Munich. 1 year later, AC Milan struck back. Their 4-0 demolition of Barcelona in 1994 remains one of the most dominant finals ever. 1997, Borussia Dortmund shocked the world, beating Juventus 3-1 with Karl-Heinz Riedler and Lars Ricken making history. And then Real Madrid returned. In 1998, after 32 years, Mihatovic's goal gave them La Septima, the start of a new dynasty. The 90s finals were a bridge from old Europe to the modern spectacle we know today. The 2000s golden era, the 2000s delivered unforgettable finals, moments etched forever in football memory. 2002, Glasgow. Zidane's volley for Real Madrid against Bayer Leverkusen. A goal of pure artistry, perhaps the greatest in Champions League history. 2003, an all-Italian battle. Milan versus Juventus. A tense chess match that ended with penalties. Milan triumphed. Then came Mourinho's Porto in 2004. Outsiders who rose to conquer Europe, defeating Monaco in Gelsenkirchen. But nothing compares to Istanbul 2005. AC Milan, 3-0 at halftime. Game over. Not for Liverpool. Gerrard, Smicer, Alonso, the comeback of comebacks. 3-3, penalties, Liverpool victorious. The Miracle of Istanbul. And to close the decade, Messi versus Ronaldo began shaping the future. 2009 final. Barcelona 2, Manchester United 0. Guardiola's tiki-taka was here to stay. The 2010s modern giants. The 2010s were dominated by superclubs, dynasties written in modern football history. 2011, Wembley, Barcelona's masterpiece. Messi, Xavi, Iniesta, dismantling Manchester United with tiki-taka perfection. Pep Guardiola's vision at its peak. 2012, drama in Munich. Chelsea outsiders survived Bayern's assault. Drogba's legendary header, Czech's saves, penalties. Chelsea crowned kings of Europe for the first time. 2013, Bayern Munich's redemption. Robben's late goal in the all-German final against Dortmund. The treble was complete, and then came Real Madrid's era. In 2014, the famous La Décima. Ramos's 93rd minute equalizer against Atletico. Extra time, Bale, Marcelo, Ronaldo. Real Madrid unleashed. From 2016 to 2018, Zidane's Madrid did the impossible. 3 consecutive Champions League titles. A feat unseen in modern football. The decade closed with Liverpool lifting the trophy in 2019, completing Klopp's revolution. From heartbreak in Kiev to triumph in Madrid. The 2010s proved dominance and miracles can coexist on the same stage. The 2020s so far. The 2020s opened in silence. The pandemic final of 2020, played in an empty stadium. Bayern Munich defeated PSG in Lisbon. Kings crowned with no fans to witness live. 2021, Chelsea struck again. Tuchel's tactics, Havertz's goal, City defeated in Porto. Chelsea lifted their second Champions League. 2022, Real Madrid returned to glory. Courtois unbreakable, Vinicius decisive. Liverpool beaten in Paris. Real Madrid's 14th crown. And then, the long wait ended. 2023. Manchester City finally achieved their dream. Guardiola's project complete. Inter Milan defeated. The treble secured. The Champions League story continues. Every final writes new legends. And the question remains, who will shape the next chapter? And so, class, our journey through every Champions League final comes to an end. From Real Madrid's dynasty in the 1950s to Manchester City's triumph in 2023. Every final has been a story of glory, heartbreak, and destiny. But football history never sleeps. And our next lesson awaits. The question is not about Europe anymore. It's about home, the Premier League, the most competitive, dramatic, and unpredictable league on earth. Yes, students, next time we will explain every Premier League champion, from Ferguson's Manchester United to Arsenal's Invincibles, to the rise of Chelsea, City, and Liverpool. Don't miss it. History class continues, and the Premier League is calling.